Welcome everyone. I'd like to welcome all of you to our Aerospace graduation and demo day. The excitement is in the air. The day has finally come for us to celebrate our cohort that has been participating in the Tech Tribe Accelerators Investment Readiness Program, a very deep, in-depth program about investment and getting investment ready. And I can confidently say that our 8 startups that are going to be pitching tonight are investment ready, and they're ready to take on investment deals. It hasn't been easy for them, but through their dedication, their commitment, and the growth that they've seen from their enterprises going through this program, we can confidently say that this has been a success. Now, just our program overview. We're going to get welcome and an overview of the program from CEO, Mr. Buntu Majaja, and then we're going to get a keynote from Mr. Kumisi, Canary, and then we're going to get another keynote from Mr. Kumbulani Mavuma, and then we'll have our 8 pitches, and then we'll have our closing remarks from our very own Reese CEO, Mr. Davis Cook. Okay, so for now, I'll hand over to Buntu. Hi, Buntu.
Hello, everyone. Hi, Buntu. Thanks so much. Hope you're well. Thanks very much to everyone, and a big welcome. It's fantastic to have you. All protocols observed, our colleagues in attendance, the viewers. It's great to have you to see the first aerospace cohort that is coming out of the IRP, and as well as our partners that we've been working with very hard to get to this day. And even though it's the end of the investment readiness program, it is the beginning of the next chapter for our entrepreneurs, and they wouldn't have made it here without the mentors. And welcome to you as well. I really want to start off with a thank you, really, to say that to have gotten here, it's part of combined efforts and work and input and resilience from a multitude of partners and contributors. I like to use the analogy of a poiki course, that really what we've brought here is some heat and a pot and some water, maybe some spices, but everything else that comes out of an investment readiness program like this is what the entrepreneurs add in, of course, our partners and our mentors, and all the other opportunities and resources that we link throughout. And I hope you'll enjoy this evening's poetry course as it's being served hot, but it will continue to be refined by the entrepreneurs, and they'll take it forward, of course, with our support in the coming steps. So a thank you to Reese for originating and supporting the program. This, I think, is a very powerful collaboration, and one that we want to continue to build across the continent, and as well as with our partners from Saldanha Bay Innovation Campus. Thank you very much to you for supporting the program, seeding the entrepreneurs in the aerospace industry. Reese had originated this program and supported it, and working well with the team there as well. Really want to congratulate you as well for the hard work across the broader program. And Digital Earth Africa, the Southern African Space Agency, seeding the space industries on the continent, supporting that Africa plays a role in this exploding and yet very early innovation industry around the world. And it has great impact, which we'll see today, on how innovators are able to take these technologies and make a difference in their communities, countries, while building formidable businesses and innovative businesses. And of course, the great contribution from our mentors. We continue to build the African continent through entrepreneurship and innovation, and it's not without the help and support and insights and contribution and input that our mentors provide. We will be taking time to recognize you as well, but really want to appreciate having the opportunity of work with you, to get to know you, and looking forward as well in future on opportunities on how we build the ecosystem. And I know we all have passion for the work that we're doing and building the ecosystem. So a great honor and a pleasure to work with people such as yourselves. And lastly, but certainly not least, the entrepreneurs. We went through the investment readiness program, and each of you really gave your all into the Boiki course. It feels like it was just yesterday that we were onboarding. Some of us were reaching for the stars, and others were reaching for the sky and the so-called limit beyond that. And really, as we went into this online program, meeting every single month, and for many of us coming in from different stages, different perspectives, and certainly industries, we really, I think we made it all our own journey, going from how to position the business, what the market and the route therefore looks like, and the future, looking at the growth and the numbers behind that, the finance that would be supporting that, and lastly, how to then tie that all into a story that you can use to recruit partners, recruit funders, recruit customers, recruit team members into the future. And each of you took your very own pieces from this and made it what we'll see today. And some of you made changes throughout the process. And I think that if that isn't the startup process, I don't know what else is. And so here, we will continue to refine the work that we're doing. And as I mentioned, this isn't the end, but really the beginning of how we're going to the market with all the asks that we have. From here, we will be, some of you will walk out of here with conversations and interests from potential strategic partners, investors, potential funders. Some of you will be attending the S Innovation Summit, which is happening in September 26th till the 29th of September in Cape Town, where there will be profiled and have the opportunity to network again with a broader ecosystem and make deals. And some of you will be joining the Tech Tribe entrepreneur community, where there'll be further resources, opportunities to refine on your business, other opportunities to meet and have warm introductions with investors or any other partners that you'd like to meet. And I really want to invite you here to leverage all of these opportunities as much as possible and recognize that we're here to make these deals with you. Our mission is your success, because with your success, we are able to continue to do what we live for, and that is to build the African continent. And we are partners with you in doing that. So please do reach out to us now, in the near future, and anytime in the Tech Tribe community. And I want to wish you all the best on your projects as we take them to the next. Thank you very much, colleagues. I'm looking forward to today. Back to yourself, Lindy.
Thank you so much, Winter. Thank you so much for those words. I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce our mentors. So The Tech Tribe Accelerator has a mentorship program that runs concurrently each and every course or program that we do. So our mentors for the Aerospace Tech Cohort, I'll start with Mr. Sam Twala. He really made sure that he attends the webinars and gave himself to our mentees, the cohort that is. Next, we've got Mr. Brendan coming all the way from the United States, battling different time zones, and he still made the time. Same with Dr. Fang from Australia. She made the time to mentor our cohort, and we really appreciate that. Mr. Oluseyo Johnson from our program partners, Gen Space, we really appreciate you. Next, we've got Audrey, our very own chairperson at the SA Innovation Summit. Thank you so much for your time. Mr. Stefan Reiki, he's also part of the judging panel today, the jury, all the way from the United States, also battling at different time zones. As you may know, most of our startups are based in South Africa and others from other African countries. So this might have been a challenge, but because of our mentors' dedication and commitment to the program, they really saw us through. Then we've got Mr. Kumisi and Mr. Kumbulani, who joined us towards the end of the program. And these two will be speaking tonight. We really appreciate you. We're yet to do more appreciation, so please look out for it. And we really appreciate all the work that you've been doing for our cohort. Next up, we're going to have a keynote on startup legalities from Mr. Kumisi Canary, founding director of Canary and Kumalo Incorporated Attorneys. Hi, Kumisi, feel free to share your screen.
Hi, everyone. Thank you very much for the introduction. I'm just trying to get to the document. If I struggle with that, I am going to need perhaps your assistance. I had sent it to you via email earlier. I'm just trying to... Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Great stuff. All right, the document is just about to open. I've prepared just a few pointers, you know, for our entrepreneurs, and you know, I like Ubuntu's Poiki analogy. You know, I can relate to it very quickly because it's what we use a lot in South Africa. So basically, the outline of my presentation today is just I will skip the part about myself. I'm just an attorney who has been practicing really for the past 15 years. I got admitted as an attorney in 2007. And ever since, I've been very active in the commercial law space, and you know, including amongst other things, ICTs, which is something that I think is also very relevant in respect of today's you know, proceedings. And I will then also touch on, you know, the legislative framework, mainly focusing on what we have in South Africa. But you know, generally, I'm assuming that we're not far off each other insofar as, you know, the legalities around commercial transactions are concerned, be it the United States or, you know, Europe. And then I will just conclude on issues or pointers on, you know, what to look out for in deals and or transactions that, you know, you may need to start getting into as entrepreneurs that are investment ready. All right. Right into it. So essentially, we and really, like I said earlier, this is, you know, an overview insofar as South Africa is concerned. But, you know, I would say that, you know, the little time that I spent, I think it was in 2008 in the UK, 2014 also in Ireland. You know, we're not really far off each other insofar as our regulatory systems are concerned. So in South Africa, you know, you have areas that are highly regulated regulated when it comes to, you know, the business or commercial environment. Those are, you know, competition issues, consumer protection issues, company, you know, establishment issues, maintenance, intellectual property, public interest issues, especially in South Africa. I know with the US, you know, it's a bit lenient insofar as public interests are concerned, be it your labor-related issues. We also have sector-specific regulations, you know, in South Africa. For instance, if you're looking at ICTs, you know, we have regulators like your domain name authority. We have regulators like your independent communications authority. We have your other regulators that deal with, you know, ICT related issues or sectors, market, whatever, you know, that is sector specific. We also have energy related regulators that deal with, you know, energy related issues. I mean, you know, the regulatory system itself, I mean, its aim really is to, you know, promote competitive and socially responsible companies or businesses in you know, in the ecosystem. And also consumer regulations that look at how, you know, enterprises and businesses interact with you know, consumers amongst other stakeholders, mainly to you know, redress and provide an environment where markets are efficient. I'm going to mention just a few you know, acts, we call them in South Africa, but really this is just legislation, laws and regulations that I think, you know, are somewhat applicable to almost all companies, you know, if we are not talking sector specific issues like your ICTs, energy, you name them. We have the BEE, you know, Act, which as a startup, perhaps in South Africa, when you are looking to get off the ground, you know, this is something you might also want to have a look at. You know, we have the Companies Act, which I will get into more details just after the slide. We have the Consumer Protection Act, we have the Competition Act, which looks at markets and how, you know, players in the market relate to each other, if there's no abuse of dominance, if there are no, you know, horizontal issues where people fix prices or they drive out other businesses out of the market. We have the Copyright Act, which deals with your intellectual property, including trademarks and you know, designs, patents. We also have the National Credit Act, which might apply, you know, at some instances and at some instances not. The National Empowerment Fund, which, you know, as a startup, you might want to know how it works and, you know, how you can use it to empower yourself and possibly get funding. We have the Public Investment Corporation also that deals with those sort of issues. Going back now to the Companies Act, which I think is very relevant, especially for entrepreneurs or startups that are just about to get off the ground, you know, getting funding and all those things. And where I'm sitting now, you know, in the opening, it was mentioned that our entrepreneurs today are ready for investment. And in my head, you know, I'm already starting to tick off, you know, boxes that I know that, you know, before you start talking to potential partners, investors, or whoever else you may need to work with in relation to your business case, you know, you need to have registered your company properly. You need to have registered with, you know, our revenue services. You need to have protected your intellectual property, be it trademarks, be it your design, be it patent, if it's patentable, copyright, and all those things. So you may need to have recourse, you know, now and then to the Companies Act, which deals mainly with regulation of businesses and companies in South Africa. where it would tell you how you establish your company, how you organize yourself, how you deal with management issues, how you capitalize your company insofar as profits are concerned, and all those other things. So the Companies Act for me is the main piece of legislation that's very important, because it's when you ever look at it, the purpose of it is to promote compliance with mainly the constitution of our country, to develop the economy in the country, and a host of other good things that I think if used properly, they are very favorable, to startups. I mean, back in the day, it used to take forever to get yourself in order insofar as establishing a company is concerned. But today, you can, start the process today, 2 days down the line, you are all set, with your bank accounts and everything else that you need, your domain names and everything else. So I will then jump straight to what I think is very important. When everything else has been dealt with, all the boxes are ticked, your company has been registered properly, you are registered with SARS, your names, there are no issues, you have filed for trademark protections, when necessary, if it's a new idea, you have patented, at least even if you don't have final registration of your patent, but at least you have put in a provisional application of some sort that handles your specifications, your business case and everything else, then you would obviously have to move from that point now to a point where you now have to deal with third parties or potential partners, investors. The following are the points that are very important for instance, what I have in front of me now on screen is really those points that you would want to address when you are in a merger or acquisition, position where you are selling or buying a business. But they are equally important, even when you talk investment, even though some of the agreements you may not have to get into if we are talking specifically an investment. But you would want to have the parties' capacities and their corporate structure. Whoever that is going to be investing in your business, you need to satisfy yourself. I mean, even them as well. They will be requesting you information, for information, asking you questions that you need to answer and satisfy. So you also have to satisfy yourself insofar as their capacity is concerned. Are they legally constituted? How is their corporate structure looking like? Are there no risks there? What is their business? You have to look at the finances. People prefer your audited financial statements. There's also your management accounts, bank statements, banking information, and all those sort of things. So this is what you would be faced with in an instance where you are negotiating a deal or you are looking for finance. You may, or they, whoever your investor is, might want information on other agreements that you have, corporate agreements, commercial agreements as a company, whatever else that you might have going with whoever else over and above them. Your business assets, yes, you are a startup, but for instance, assets can be real, property, or can be what we call immaterial, if you may, and not necessarily material, but your intellectual property, something that has got value, but it's not necessarily real property, but you can still place some value on it. And issues of employees, do you have any employees as a startup? Pension issues, intellectual property issues, computer systems and data, if there are any agreements that you also have in this respect, if they are in order, something that you would want to share with your investor or even them sharing it with you. Are there any litigation issues perhaps pending that you are dealing with as an organization, as a startup, that might compromise the transaction that you want to get into with your potential investor or partner? Insurance issues, there's just a host of them. And I mean, really, this is what you need to tick off and make sure that you deal with properly before you, get to a point where you can say you are now ready to conclude an agreement or an arrangement with a potential funder or an investor into who is looking to work with you insofar as your business case is concerned or your idea. So those are, and I don't want to bore you with a lot of details. But for instance, I wanted to focus more on intellectual property. With trademarks, for instance, you would have a product, perhaps, as you are getting off the ground, that you have named it properly. There's a logo for it. There's a slogan for it. You need to make sure that you have a file for protection, and you do it in the relevant classes. And internationally, you also just continue filing for protection that way. And there are lawyers everywhere. I mean, if you have an attorney, perhaps in the US, you're doing it there, and you can also find a correspondent in South Africa who can just assist you with that. So that's about it from me. If there's any questions, please feel free to ask. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Canary. Okay, we'll head right into our certificates and pitching. So we're going to be giving certificates because this was a course, a program to our cohort just before they pitch. But before that, let's introduce the jury. Drum roll, please. This is getting exciting. We've got 3 judges for tonight. We've got the first one, Mr. Stefan Ricky, Executive Director at GenSpace and co-founder of Angelus Funding. The second one we have is Ms. Farah Naidu, Program Manager at Digital Earth Africa. And then the last one is Dr. Audrey Verhaage, Chairperson of SACE and CEO at Anza Capital. Okay, our first participant, and please don't mind the sequence. We're not following any hierarchy of some sort. Our first participant is DeltaScan. Congratulations to DeltaScan. The founders of DeltaScan are Daryl and Dale. You can go right ahead and share your screen, Daryl.
Sure, no problem. It's also Justin on the line. He's our other business partner and founder. Cool. So DeltaScan is all about bringing digital innovation into the engineering and asset management workflow using drones, artificial intelligence, and some really smart software engineering. We have completely rewritten the rules of what engineering and asset management is about. Typically, infrastructure is inspected with teams that hang down on rope. It's incredibly unsafe, it is slow, it is expensive, and the information is incredibly poor what the client receives at the end of the day. What we have done is we've changed this by turning to smart digital technologies, creating what we call digital twins, bringing cost savings, speed, efficiencies, and really changing the way that information is shared and communicated. We've built our own cloud proprietary platform, which centralizes all the engineering information and digital information, focusing on engineering intelligence and GIS information that clients can interact with, can communicate and measure like never ever before in the world. We focus on the customer's needs and not just nice to haves. We're coming from an engineering background. I'm a professional engineer and our team is made up of professionals in the space. We change the way that we can communicate by using technology. The way we do this is we decentralize the way that data is captured. Anywhere in the world, we bring in inspection teams, engineers, drone companies, and we train them on how to capture information. It gets sent to us, and we turn this into smart analytical engineering reporting, which is all about visualization, measurement, and planning engineering data. We service mines, refineries, the public sector, processing plants, and many, many other industries that all are turning to digital tech. In the space, it makes up engineers, QSs, inspection companies around the world, asset owners directly, and also a huge component is in the disaster management space, in insurance and loss adjusters. Farming is absolutely vital, and the whole world has suddenly embraced digital. They want to stay as far away from site as possible. One of the biggest factors in this was COVID, and the newest generation wants digital tech. They don't want the old way of doing things, which was very manual, very time consuming. We started out in 2018 as a small company with one goal, which was to bring digital innovation into the space. Since then until now, we have become a global force in the engineering market. We've achieved an annual compound growth rate of 200% on average with no external investment. And this was 90% within a South African market, a market that is an incredibly slow adopter of this tech. We now want to take on the international players and have a 5 to 10x within the next few years. Our current revenue just very quickly started off at 1.5 in year one through word of mouth marketing. We currently are looking at a projection of 12 million for this financial year. And within the next 3 to 4 years, we easily want to triple that to 5 times that earning. The market is out there. The drone inspection market, according to the biggest surveys in the world, is currently at $12 billion. $100 million directly in our space that we operate in industrial and commercial inspections. $10 million is easily achievable if we get into the right markets and we expand with a smart intention mind. So how do we know we can do this? We look at our competitors. Cyberhawk, 22 million Rand revenue last year. Sorry, $22 million. Texto 23 and TerraDrone 20 million in revenue. Now we have tech that is better than these guys. We have much smarter and innovative solutions. We just need to get out there. It's been built by engineers from the ground up, and we have been building for 10 years. Although we launched in 2018, we have made mistakes. We've learned lessons, and we are ready to scale. Our short-term goal is to be leaders in Africa. We have a big African presence. We currently operate in 7 countries worldwide, and we want to expand our reach and become a global leader in the inspection and digitization space. The core management team is myself, Justin, and Dale, all professionals in the infrastructure market. And the way we want to do this is we're asking for an initial investment of 5 million Rand in return for 10% equity. That is to grow, it's to invest in hardware, and a big portion of that is focused on software builds, which will allow us to scale. It will allow us to penetrate these international markets. And also there's a portion in there for business development, for being able to sell into these international territories. Thank you very much. I hope that was 4 minutes. Maybe it was longer. I haven't timed it, but thank you.
That is your time, Daryl.
Go.
Okay, just in time. Thank you so much, Daryl, for that. We'll head over to the judges. Audrey.
Thank you, Daryl. I think you know that I am really impressed with your business. I think you set up your business to grow fast, and you definitely a go-getter entrepreneur. If you could maybe just tell us a little bit about your intellectual property. What is defendable in your product? And I get the digitalization. Is that the only part that's disrupting the market? Is there anything that you do very different from your competitors? I'm focusing on the product because the business part makes sense. You know, I think you've done that very well. Can you just tell us a little bit about the technology?
Sure. Audrey, am I allowed to share my screen maybe to show you what it's all about? Or you want me to just talk you through it?
We only have 6
Okay,
minutes.
I'll give you I'll do it verbally. So, our approach to inspections and digitization is very, very different to everyone else. Everyone in the market uses off-the-shelf products that are designed for mass market adoption. And in doing that, it's two important factors that those products use, which is simplicity and autonomy. And because of the introduction of that, they've lost out on all the depth and the detail. So we don't go for the broad, just general overview of infrastructure. We go deep and we provide engineering grade inspection solutions. So our Delta Cloud platform isn't just a nice, pretty viewer for models. It has engineering reporting. It has measurement functionality. It has the ability to manage and track changes over time. And we have companies all around the world. I was on a phone call with Singapore yesterday, one of the biggest oil and gas giants, that is begging us to help them manage their infrastructure remotely. They can't get to sites. They have no effective way of managing the construction of an FPSO, a massive oil rig offshore. And they want our technology to help them do this with their teams around the world. That's pretty much the take that we have on the inspection market.
Okay, thank you so much for that.
Sure.
Farah.
Hi, good afternoon, Daryl.
Hi, Farah.
I must say I'm very impressed with the business model. I haven't been part of the mentorship of the cohorts, but I had a few questions, and one of them was the value offering around the tech. I think for me, what I'd like to find out is a little bit more about the business side around, you mentioned, I think, job creation. Can you just tell us a little bit about your strategy around job creation and current structure you have in the organization?
Sure. So the one of the biggest technologies we use is drones, and drones are highly regulated around the world. So in 2015, when the licensing came out, we had a call to make. Do we want to fly drones, which is fun, it's really awesome to do, or do we want to focus on data analytics, on what we're really good at and our core competency? And that's the direction that we took. So by decentralizing the data capture, by excluding it from our workflow, we were able to reach countries all around the world. During COVID, one of our biggest revenue sources was inspecting bridges in Norway from South Africa. We simply trained up an inspection team who had drones in Norway. We explained the process of capturing data. We did a few Zoom sessions, and within a week, we were flying bridges hundreds of meters across the sea. We were turning that information into digital reports, and they loved it. A couple of months ago, I was called to come to Norway to look at more bridges there. There's a huge market, 18,000 bridges. In Europe, there's probably similar numbers in all of those territories. So our objective is to link up with strategic partners. Inspection companies, I think, has been the predominant force, that companies that already have big relationships with these oil giants, with these mines, and now they want better tech. It's very difficult for us at this stage to knock on the likes of Shell and BP, etc., and say, hey, we the new kid on the block. But it's very easy to target the companies that are already in there, that already have the relationships, and offer them a better, innovative way of collecting information.
Thank you, Daryl.
Sure.
I think then we can hand over to.
Okay, thanks so much. Because of our time, I think let's keep it to 2 judges per startup. I hope that's okay with everyone. Just a reminder to our pitchers, we've got 4 minutes to pitch, and then Dwayne calls time, and then 6 minutes Q&A. We'll head over to the next certificate. Taras Energy Services. Congratulations to Gareth and Boniswa. And without wasting time, over to you, Gareth.
Hi there. I can't seem to. Okay, there we go. everyone see my screen and hear me clearly?
Yes.
Okay, so we get started. Hi, good evening, everybody. Gareth Rush of Taurus Energy Services, trading as Taurus Innovation, a company that specializes in energy and environmental solutions that has recently diversified from energy into the innovation and environmental space, actually. We found that there's a definite problem in air pollution, in that 7 million people die each year from this, according to WHO standards. And so there's a need to improve air quality. But the environmental sector is plagued with regulations that require extensive auditing. And so this causes disassociation between tasks. It's very time-consuming and costly to get data for this, and the safety aspects are an issue as well. So as a company, we want to service the regulated community by decreasing the stressful decision-making, the manual data management, the cost and time, as I've mentioned, all this while ensuring compliance with environmental legislation, right? And how do we do this? Well, essentially, there's usually a caravan full or a trailer full of equipment needed to do this air quality monitoring. However, there's technologies that exist that monitor air in situ. And so we could do area sources, landfill inspections, carbon emissions monitoring to respond to hazmat situations or pipeline inspections. And we are specialists in this field. And we like the flexibility of this to deal with most businesses' ESG requirements. And so the market size we saw was about $26 billion, which will be reached by 2028. In South Africa, it's an estimated sector of about 19 billion rand. 60% of that is concentrated in the Western Cape, KwaZulu-Natal, and the Gauteng province. Our competitors, although many, they usually specialize in static ambient air quality monitoring, one point in space. However, we see that we could possibly even partner with them, because we remain a micro niche market that could probably offer a extended service for them. And so we kept our model pretty simple. We don't charge for flights, we charge for the report itself, about 10 to 15,000 rand. And then if it's on a retention basis, it's about 4,500 rand per month. Any ad hoc flights thereafter, 2,500. And we actually want to sell directly to clients that we have access to. Like, for example, there's 1,500 companies reporting to the air quality data that I have access to that could be contacted directly. We have relationships in the sector already, in government and in different associations. And so we started out as an energy company in LPG distribution, but with trying to diversify, we've increased our revenue by 15% to 30% each year. And so if we do this, we foresee a 10 times scale in the upcoming years. That's the management team, my wife and myself, not the guys in the corner. And so we are environmental specialists, the background in engineering, with a combined experience of 26 years. And I think, yeah, take it from this guy. He thinks that you should, this is your call to action. We're asking for 1.9 million rand just for the acquisition of equipment, training, and even licenses that we need. And this is the time, because even though life expectancy caused by bad air quality is about 2 years less, the funding goes to other initiatives that are actually better managed. And so we thank you for that. We hope that you see value in this. Thank you very much. I'm going to go have some pochi because I'm craving because of Ubuntu.
That is your time, Gareth.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gareth. I must say it's beautiful to see families working together in innovation. So big up to you for that. Over to you, Stefan.
Great. Thanks, Garrett, for sharing your company with us. As an investor, obviously you have an ask, which is clear. I just want to know from you, what excites you and what drives you to run this company, and especially with your family? what's the most exciting thing for you, and why are you doing this?
Because we come from the same sort of sector, I think we always were leaning towards the environmental side of things. It may seem like we started in a strange energy space with distribution of LPG, but it is a cleaner energy. So we're looking towards, or at least a transitional energy. And so we're excited about cleaning up the environment. In fact, this isn't the only initiative we want to do. Even in this space, in the innovation space, we want to move into the waste management sector. We are there, and we want to move into the waste management sector. So it excites us to do better. And technology has always been, especially my a little hobby of mine, and to integrate through innovation is basically what excites us most.
Great, thanks.
Okay, thanks. We've got a question from Audrey in the chat. Hi, Taras. What will you give to the investor for the 1.9 million? Is it equity, interest, or profit share? Maybe give a quick answer to that one.
Yeah, very quickly. I'm sorry, I did miss that in the slide. So thank you, Audrey, for that. We wanted to offer equity, yes, possibly 10%, but we may find that there's more value in helping the investor with the environmental obligations to reach the ESG goals, even if it's the carbon emission monitoring savings. And so they could benefit more from that aspect of things than actually just equity in the business itself. I hope that answers you, Audrey. Thank you.
Okay, another question. Are you open to broaden the founder team?
The founder team, most definitely. In fact, in order to get in other expertise into the business, we were looking to do that anyway. Obviously, it depends.
Okay, we've got another one from Farah. Do you have a pipeline of sales with this diversification?
So we do. Like I mentioned, we have direct relationships with associations. I'll give you an example. There's a brickmaker association. They find it very difficult to monitor air quality because there's not one single stack, for example, a chimney that they can monitor out of. So this is the perfect technology for them. There's many other associations like this in the waste management sector. There's landfill sites that we could monitor, and we're already in that space in the waste management portion of our company. And then there's also the databases that I mentioned that we have details on the, because I was in the field before, there's 1,500 companies, and that's just in the air quality space that we could directly contact, knowing the issues, their problems, what their reporting obligations are. And so, yeah, there's a direct pipeline to sales.
Okay, thank you for that. We'll head over to the next one.
Thank you.
Yeah, so can I share my screen? Or...
Yes. Hi, Caleb.
Hi.
So Caleb is coming up next from Ijuma. I'm trying to pull up the certificate now, but you can go ahead and share your screen. I'll do that later.
Okay, sure.
We can see your screen, Caleb.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay, then let me expand it. Okay, yeah, thank you for having me. My name is Caleb Masinde, and I'm the founder of Ijuma Data Analytics. So Ijuma Data Analytics is a geospatial technology company that utilizes Earth observation data to help foresters make more informed decisions concerning their assets. Currently, forest land management is not a smooth process because of expensive geoanalytical software, manual reporting, the tree count is devoid of species inventory, and also the local community is not engaged in this entire process. We intend to solve this via our platform, where users can digitalize the entire forest management operation. Our platform will allow for comprehensive data on forest statistics, including the tree height, tree count, tree species, and so forth. We'll also have automated reporting, community participation, and ensure for continuous monitoring for early warnings on deforestations and forest fires and so forth. Our technology consists of both classical and AI-powered data analytics with emphasis on Python module for our computation. So I have a short pilot. This is Kenya. To the southeast, we have a forest called Arabuko Sokoke, and we downloaded Sentinel-2 imagery of the area, but as you can see, it is very cloudy. One can choose a full-scala composite to distinguish between the cloud cover and the dark vegetation. And we have a number of modules that you can be able to use to get as much data as we can from both open source data and also proprietary satellite data, for example, from Maxa. I think I will stop it here. So the forestry business is quite big at more than $535 billion in revenue. And within East Africa, forestry accounts for about $250 million. Clients that Ijuma, we have decided to target, have set aside about $80 million for forestry operations. Our bread and butter is the data that we generate from our analytics. And we will be selling the data through a yearly subscription plan of $25 per every kilometer squared of land that we analyze. Our customer base consists of foresters, conservationists, and loggers. We are well placed when compared to our competitors, providing a scalable and cheaper alternative to the commercial softwares, for example, ArcGIS and the open source options like QGIS. So the team consists of 3 co-founders bringing an array of skills to our data analytics platform, as well as, geodata management and software development. We also have worked in a myriad of organizations in both the public and the private sector. We started our company last year in October. So far, we have been able to obtain imagery, and most of our backend is running. We hope to have a fully functional front end in 2 months' time. So far, we are seeking 150,000 USD to aid in the professional development of our front end, and also to hire foresters for the species validation, and some of which will also go to business mentorship, because we don't have anybody within us who is good when it comes to accounting and so forth. So, and in return, we'll offer about 15% of our company to the investor. Thank you very much.
That is your time.
Thanks so much. Just in time. For this one, we'll start with Farah.
Okay, I have a few questions. I hope I can go quickly. So I heard you saying your revenue model is $25 per kilometer, per square kilometer.
Yes,
is this a once-off or per analysis? So is this, how is this revenue model? Can you explain that revenue model a little bit, please?
Yeah, so once we get the imagery, the way we'll be charging our clients is per every square kilometer of land that we analyze. So if they, for example, subscribe to us, they'll be subscribing for every square kilometer of land analyzed per year.
Okay, and then can you just explain to me, you're asking for that for the investment for foresters and business mentorship.
Yes.
In foresters, can you explain that a little bit? What do you mean by you need to hire foresters?
Yeah, so in as much as we are good in the data analytics and computational part of the business, we'll need foresters to validate our data models, because we have what we'll be generating will just be from our end, but we have to make sure that our AI model is actually giving us what we want. So we'll hire for the first stage foresters to actually go around the forest and, you know, pick these particular trees that we have identified from our images and see whether the model predicted accurately that this is this particular species.
Okay, and last question before we move to another judge. I just want to find out, I'm not sure if I missed it, but your competitors, what's your unique value proposition as opposed to your competitors?
So, so far, we are willing to, you know, utilize the local community. So far, the local community has been sidetracked. And another thing is we feel that our solution is far cheaper and it's more user-friendly to use. Because if you are looking at the commercial segment, yes, it's scalable, but it's very expensive. And when you look at the open source options that are there, they are not scalable for large tracts of land. So we are offering something that is more cheaper and more scalable, and also will also utilize the local community in our exercise.
Okay, thank you very much, Caleb.
Okay.
Okay, thanks, Farah. Stefan, do you have any questions?
Yeah, quick question. So using your local community, does that mean you're paying the local community, which might be a positive impact?
Yes, definitely. We'll have to pay them, because even though we are going to start with the foresters, we want to include them in the process so that they feel that, you know, the forest that they are living next to is a crucial form of, you know, funds of income. So that is what we also want to do.
Thank you.
Okay, Audrey, do you have any questions for Caleb?
No, maybe just a comment. I met today a Pan-African investor in that focus on carbon credits. So I think this and the previous presentation, I'm going to introduce to that investor that can work with carbon credits.
Okay.
Just that comment.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Great, thank you so much, Audrey. Would like to head over to Nyasa Aerial Data Solutions, headed by Tadala.
Hi, I'm Tadala Maguluni. I'm presenting for Nyasa Aerial Data Solutions, which is a startup company based in Malawi. So our company started in 2020, where we're using drones and serial imagery for different environmental problems. So now the problem that we're trying to solve right now is a problem to do with carbon trading. So apparently, Malawi government seeks to develop programs that will strengthen Malawi's ability to attract investment in climate change mitigation, as well as adaptation. So, but then the emission of greenhouse gases has caused more climate changes, and at the emitters of carbon dioxide are taxed with no carbon quantification that is attached to their emissions. So at the end of the day, we need to know how much carbon that our 17 forest reserves here in Malawi are able to sequester each and every year, so that those people that are taxed with money for carbon dioxide emission should be able to know how much carbon each and every tree is able to sequester. So now our solution is that we should be able to use tree annotation as well as certification for those that have got trees as well as forest reserves. And we should be able to quantify the amount of carbon that is there in each and every tree, each year that is. Our product is based on multispectral data. Mostly we're talking about satellite images as well as drone surveys and field measurements. At the end of the day, we would want to have a model that would be able to quantify the amount of carbon that is there in trees. So at the end of the day, what we want to use is to learn away from the physical. We want to run away from the physical data collection that is there to quantify data, which we're talking about forest inventory, as well as walking around the forest. And we also want to run away from ways that are there. So I was saying that our project is mostly based on the use of drones as well as satellite images to run away from forest inventory. Our target customers, especially those that deal with motor vehicle owners, especially transport companies, because they've got a transit and they've got so many cars with them. And then we're also targeting the Ministry of Environment as well as climate change, because those are the people that want to come up with programs that will strengthen the Malawi's ability to attract investment in climate change as well as forest owners. So the underlying magic with our product is that we're using low-cost drones. So we're talking about the RGB drones, and it's an innovative way. It's affordable and also environmental friendly. The difference that we've got with other competitors. So because I was using my laptop, I would just explain what those boxes mean, but they were ticks and they close. So apparently, us as Nyasa Area Data Solutions, our solution is innovative. So it targets every forest owner, unlike Bela as well as Kulela Landscape Malawi. So these are only targeting a specific area, as Bela is also targeting a specific forest, a specific forest or specific tree species. So our solution is effective, unlike Bela as well as Kulela Landscape, and environmental friendly, because we are not cutting down any trees to measure the carbon, unlike Bela as well as Kulela Landscape. So ours is unique because we're using drones as well as satellite images at the end of the day to quantify the data that is there, especially the above ground biomass. So our target market, Malawi, said in Malawi we've got a market target of 3 billion USD, which is between 2022 to 2027. Our partners is Bunda College of Agriculture and Natural Resources, because they've got a forest. So we want to work with them for, at this point in time, in products, when we're producing the product as well as when we are testing the product. We're also working with Yoma, because these are the youths that are interested in environment as well as forest management, as well as data. We're also working with Data Union. So we use our website as well as the Data Union app, LinkedIn, Facebook, as well as Twitter for our channels. So right now, Nyasa Area Data Solutions is looking for $200, which $10,000 is going to be used for product development. The $5,000 is going to be used for testing, and the remaining $5,000 will be going to be used for offices as well as other inquiries that we'll have. The 10%. So for the investors, they will get a 10% equity. Our team is composed of 7 people, including me, who is the CEO, Regeza, Patrick, Chiza, Fred, and Alec. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tadala. And I must say thank you for not giving up. when you had the technical glitches there and for improvising. That's what entrepreneurship is all about. Okay, we'll head over to the judges. Audrey.
Right, Tadelo, can you tell me a little bit more about your traction? So I presume you haven't sold anything to anybody, but if you have, tell me about that. But even in your product development, how far are you down the road? How much money have you spent of your own sweat equity, your own time and effort? Just give me a little bit more about what has gone into this, this business of yours up to date and your major victories.
Tadala, did you get that? Tadala, are you still with us?
I got disconnected, so I just joined. May you please repeat the question?
Sure. I am looking for more information about your traction. That could be any clients that you've been surveying to get their needs. I want to know how far are you down the route of product development, trials and learnings. How much effort and money have you put in as a team to get where you are? I don't get a sense of what went into the business so far and how far are you with your own effort. Major victories as well.
All right. So when we were starting, we invested $2,000, and that was in 2020. So this year we also invested $5,000. So the $2,000 was for setting up, as well as buying equipment for field measurement, for forest field measurement. So right now, the $5,000 that we have invested in, we are purchasing a drone, an RGB drone, as well as a computer, a laptop for processing. So far what we've done is we've collected field data for the forest that we want to use for testing. So we're able to collect field data. So we started in a small village in Malawi, here in Malawi, in the field data, and then we learned from there what we're supposed to do, how we are supposed to collect the data and everything. So now we're at Bunda College of Agriculture. We've collected the data, the field data that is to do with the tree height, the DBH as well. The other ways that we've done in generating money is to do with mapping activities. So we're able to map different areas for different companies, as well as a way of generating income for our company. We have also mapped using drone studies and analyzed data for different companies as well. Thank you.
Okay, thanks so much for that. Stefan, do you have any questions for Tadala?
Real quick question. So where do you see the company going in, like, say, 2 to 3 years? Where do you want it to be?
In 2 to 3 years, we're seeing our company as a best innovative company here in Malawi that is dealing with environmental issues, to do with water issues, forest issues, natural resource issues. So we're using drones as well as satellite images to combat, and as well as deal with issues that are in regards to climate change. Thank you.
Okay, I hope that answers your question, Stefan.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, Farah, do you have any questions?
Okay, maybe just a quick one. I just see on your team, you have quite a lot of senior members within your team. Do they all have ownership within the organization?
Yes, so the company started with the 6 of us. So the 6 of us are the co-founders of the company. Yeah, so it started with the 6 of us. That's why you're seeing senior management teams as there, because we are all co-founders of the company with equal shares as well.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Tadala and the judges. We'll go back a little bit. Okay, a big congratulations to Aqualife Fisheries Farms. We'll hand over to you now. Sofian, if you can share your screen.
Okay. Okay. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, can go ahead.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Sufyan Binyamin, and I'm the founder and CEO of Aqualife iFarms. Our mission is to ensure SDG 1 and 2, no poverty and zero hunger, while focusing on SDG 11, trying to build sustainable cities and communities. COVID-19 and climate has reversed many years of progress in the global development and has further escalated inequalities. For instance, in Nigeria, farmers in Nigeria are having difficulties selling their product due to the market's low market visibility and destruction in the and inefficient in the agricultural value chain. And this what bettered Aqualife iFarms. The problem mitigating farmers in Nigeria include lack of market visibility, lack of access to information, inadequate storage facilities, and dynamic market price, with lack of smart farming, which is disrupting agricultural output. So we have provided a single platform, iFarms, which give access to all those problems, which can solve those problems, or which is solving those problems. Our platform, iFarms, a farmer can subscribe to our channel, which we connect smallholder farmers with resources in order to produce high. Also, we also connect them with the final consumers on their produce. Our next step, currently we are working in order to include smart farming using IoT technology and Speak technology to be forecasting and monitoring, to be given a smart farming services in order to provide actionable farmer with for farmers. We generate our revenues through this direct sale of produce, subscription, monthly subscription, storage and logistics services, also the bank of data we are storing, and commission per market access we give. Our competitors include AgroDomain and Co., and our unique selling points include the feedback channel, we provide the logistics services and the iFarm services. And our strategy include social media and blogs, and we use digital technology in order to promote our offering. We gain traction with the following bodies: African Earth Observation, and we emerge as one of the regional winners of Agro Hack Challenge, Kaduna State, Whitefield Foundation awardee, CAD Hack ICT. We have secured 2 district head of village farmers. We have secured them and we have talked to them, and they are ready to engage with us. We are asking for $50,000 for 10% equity of our business in order to make reality of the IoT technology, to incorporate IoT technology to our offering, so that we will be providing a smart farming services to smallholder farmers. Our team include I myself, Sufyan Binyamin, Fatima Binyamin, and Ahmed Mohammed Rabil, with a combined years of 10 years of experiences in the field of science, agriculture, computer science, and technology. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Sufyan. Stefan, do you have any questions for Sufyan?
Yes, Sufyan, great presentation. Quick question, can you just quantify the level of impact you can address on poverty? I mean, I see what you're asking for, but is there some metric you can offer on how you're going to address poverty with your company?
Yeah, exactly, because post-harvest losses is one of the greatest challenge leading to high poverty. For example, in Kaduna State, so linking farmers with final consumer of their produce, we are limiting post-harvest losses, also connecting them with smart farming services and connecting them to where they can sell. This will go a long way in cutting post-harvest losses, which is leading to poverty. Also, this offering will also bring about job creation, which will include youth and women and poverty eradication.
Have you had a chance to talk to those farmers already about this?
Yeah, we have talked to some farmers actually. In fact, have secured 2 district heads because most of those farmers are conservative. So we talked to 2 district heads who has talked to their network. We don't really know the amount of the farmers they have talked to, but we know there are many. But personally, directly, we have talked to almost 500 farmers, we have secured 2 district heads who are willing to engage with us.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks for that. We still have a bit of time because Sufyan didn't take his whole 4 minutes, so we'll head over to Audrey.
Sufyan, so if you have spoken to 500 farmers, that's quite a lot of work that you've put into this business. Have you sold anything? I don't know whether I just lost my concentration, but I haven't seen a slide that explains to me any money traction that you've got so far, or have you just listened to the client, built it up, but you still need to go into the market? I want to get to this. You said 10% for, I can't remember the number, but then I worked out in my mind that, so you are saying $50,000 for 10% equity. So you are saying that currently your company is worth $500,000. How do you get to that number and that transaction in a way? Do you have any financials?
Yeah, actually, we are just transiting into a tech space. Actually, the Aqualife, it is a fishery farm initially. So we are just transiting into a tech space. Those farmers we have secured currently, we've trained them and we have make an awareness of our offering. That's why I said we have talked to them, but we have not started engaging with them. So these are what we are trying to bring up actually.
So what was your turnover last year, for instance?
Pardon?
What was the turnover of your company?
Okay, turnover. Annual turnover.
Yes.
Okay. Annual turnover of Aqualife iFarms is $20,000 US.
Okay.
Currently.
Thanks. That gives me a picture get to this number, you know.
Okay, thanks, Audrey. Farah, over to you.
Okay, the question I want to ask is also around the 500 farmers that you spoke about, because my question is coming from experience, because I've done some research around the SADC regions on commodities with rural farmers. So I just want to understand, the farmers that you had surveyed, do you have some sort of hard copy or in writing the survey that you did with them? Also, just to find out, because I know smart technology is a bit of a challenge with rural farmers. So how have you, in terms of, captured that in your survey as well, in terms of how you'll get around that type of challenge?
Yeah, currently the farmers I said we have secured is that we have go to the rural environment and we have make like a webinar where we make a seminar. We gather almost more than 500 farmers. We talk to them what we'll be offering, and we talk to them our processes, what we'll be doing. So they all agree. So actually we have not yet launched the iFarm to start properly, but we know that already we have a traction. We are just waiting in order to kickstart.
Okay, so you have some sort of hard copy of the survey that you've done, or it was just the webinar that you've had with?
It's a webinar.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Sufyan, and the judges. And to Sufyan, thank you for also not giving up, just like Tarela, and going ahead with using your phone. I'd like to appreciate the contact that Audrey mentioned, that she's going to introduce to Caleb. If you need any assistance with that, we are here to assist. Okay, we will go back a little bit and give this time to Mr. Kumbulani Mavuma.
Yes, all right. Hope I'll be able to share my screen quickly.
Okay.
All right, can you guys see my screen? Hello, can anyone see my screen maybe?
Yes, we can see your screen, but not your presentation. So you can just open the presentation.
All right, without taking much time, can I be able to do presentation maybe right away?
Yes, can go right into it.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, yeah, thank you to everyone who has presented tonight. And I mean, there's no doubt that these companies are growing in their, in their space, in their own shape and form, and of course, defining the African markets, disrupting it as it were. All right, let me just go ahead. As I said, my name is Kumbulani. I'm the co-founder and also the CEO of Index Venture Partners. Index Venture Partners is basically a Pan-African venture capital firm. We've got offices in Kenya. We're currently raising our first fund of 100 million rands, and we have secured about 8 million so far. So it's still a long way to go, but we obviously comfortable to sign up checks as soon as we do our first close, probably sometime next year. Yes, so we're basically on a mission to back the next generation of highly disruptive tech businesses in African emerging markets. And one of the things that we are looking at as well is to be incorporated under the laws or laws and regulations of Mauritius, Luxembourg, and Estonia for obvious reasons. We are currently regulated in South Africa by Financial Service Conduct Authority. We basically play at really at the lowest stages, that is at pre-seed and seed stages. We really looking for companies that are solving pressing and real-time problems, not problems that are not there, but problems that really do exist, you know. And we only focusing on prop tech, fintech, edutech, health tech, insurtech, clean tech, future of work, food tech, media, and agri-tech. We have one company currently on our portfolio. It's a filming company based in Rwanda, and the company is doing really well so far. So what we basically tend to avoid as a VC fund is to invest in sectors like ammunition, gambling, human trafficking, or anything of that sort. So what we always try to do, and which I think every VC investor really does, is to stick to our investment thesis. Some call it investment philosophy, and there's always reasons, of course, for that. But for us, is risk management purposes. No matter how good, a startup can be, but a startup will always be a startup, and that means there's a lot of risk associated with a business that is not really break even. And another thing is we're interested more in high returns. You know, there's different type of investors, strategic investors. We are financial investors. The most important thing is, of course, to get returns. I mean, otherwise there's no point really in investing. But again, we always try to balance the risk and the returns as well. So we are really keen to look at pitch decks, provided that the company is already generating above 50,000 rands or $3.2 on monthly revenues, and that has been happening consistently for the past 6 months. Another thing is that staff must have paying customers, because really until you have paying customers, you can't really be sure that the solution that you have built is really needed. So the customers are always your first investors in the business, and hence why at Index we have launched VC hours to try by all means and meet entrepreneurs, you know, halfway. What I would like to obviously look at today is also, what we call cap tables. You know, what really are cap tables? I mean, cap tables is actually an Excel spreadsheet that lists all the securities the company has issued, such as warrants, equity grants, shares, convertible notes, etc. It basically tells the investor who owns the company. Another thing is it's important for when you actually raising to have information like spreadsheet that explains things like this, so that if there's any investor that is interested that says, look, I want to have a look at who owns what in your company, you are able to pull that information right away, so that the investor can also be able to make decisions whether to invest or not. So an investor can request options, of course, that covers Things like, do you have enough shares available in your options pool to meet the offer? And again, how many shares are required to cover the requested percentage? And thirdly, how dilutive will this offer be to other holders in your company? You know, when you're building up a startup, most of the times you do not have capital to pay out salaries. So some other founders, what they will then do is they will say, come in, join me in this company, and I'm gonna give you, let's say, 20% of my own business. And you found that maybe there's more than 4 or more than 3. Let's just say there's 3 founders with let's say with 20%, you know, each 2 for 6, and then there's 40 I mean, there's one with 40%. So those are things that an investor also will look at before they even decide to say, should we come in? You know, how our offer, how will it actually dilute, you know, the what we call the holders in the company. But of course, is not, the aim is not to dilute anyone. But again, when you're looking at your cap table, you should try by all means to keep it clean, you know, just in a nutshell. And again, a term sheet, I think my colleague, the attorney, has actually mentioned some things in passing. The term sheet actually contains the terms and conditions of agreement between an investor and entrepreneur. It is not a binding document whatsoever, so both parties are not obliged to pay. So even if they can both sign, either of them can back out if they do not feel like proceeding further. However, VC investors do not get to this point unless they are prepared to invest. And authentic entrepreneurs, I mean, they are prepared to invest in entrepreneurs that they really trust, entrepreneurs that they think that really are in it for a long haul. And again, for instance, when you're raising, let's say, I mean, 500,000 rand, you should be able to say, you know, your latest evaluation, you know, was valued maybe at 20%, and probably that's why you're parting away 15%. So there's also maths behind, you know, saying you are raising behind every raising, because you can't raise, I mean, a 50, you can't say I'm raising maybe say $1 million of nothing. There really has to be an evaluation, you know. And again, in term sheets, so basically things like we'll be ready to raise, let's say, our Series A within 24 months. They are also quite important. It actually gives an investor an indication that you are aware that your startup will be ready to raise, and that you're confident, you know, at the growth of your company. So basically, I mean, term sheet covers things like valuations, investment amounts, liquidations, preferences, percentage stakes, voting rights, you know, pro rata right, things like that. And lastly, secondary acquisitions. So what we love to do, I mean, at Index, we actually love ambitious entrepreneurs who want to take their tech businesses globally. You know, just like any other VC investor, we like a business that has a scalable business model and also a disruptive appetite. You know, to us, that indicates entrepreneur willingness and a hunger to grow the business really big. So if that is not clear, I guess, you know, that business really still needs to be, there still needs to be, I mean, a lot of work that still needs to be done there. And again, you know, since we are early stage investors, the time we negotiate the deal, we should be able to tell who will be the next investor at which round, and what will that investor bring apart from funds. You know, I know it's important, funds are important, but investors, they I mean, they have to obviously bring, you know, things like intellectual resources, you know, their network, you know. So and again, you know, when you invest in business, you want to exceed at some stage. You want to be able to realize your profit as much as possible. I mean, we all know that investing in startup is high risky. Most of the investors, they really lose their money. It can take 7 years or even more, you know, of uncertainty and predictability for a venture capital firm to be comfortable to exit. You know, so it makes sense to get high returns during the liquidity events. So it's that about that. That's about it on my side, and I think there's something that you guys have learned. I mean, as you're about to obviously continue with your fundraising. It's long. It's a very hard journey. It's painful. It's emotional. But if you know your whys, if you basically know why you have started your business in the first place, you'll definitely be able to reach your close. So I really wish you all the best, and thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Mavuma, for that. And thank you for giving us an investor's perspective and the tips and tricks that you've shared and that you will continue to share, because we want you in the Tech Tribe community. So we will continue to keep this relationship going. Thank you for sharing these points to note for our startups in their investment journeys. We'll head over then to our last two pitches. Our last two pitches of the day. A big congratulations to the team at Ignitos Logistics Limited. Who's pitching from Ignitos between Sid and Ahmad?
Hey, everyone.
Ahmad will be pitching today, and I'll be answering questions later. Thanks.
All right. Feel free to share your screen, Ahmad.
Okay, sure. Okay, confirming everyone can see that?
Yes.
Okay. Did it go to the next slide?
It does.
Okay, perfect. Let me start. Good evening, everyone. I'm Ahmad, co-founder and CEO of Ignitos Space. Sorry, is this in my... Yeah. Wow, we've really come a long way from sleeping under the stars to reaching for the stars and launching the first space tech company in the history of Zambia. We are Ignitos Space, the winner of Africa's Best Space Innovation Company and other competitions where we have accumulated loads of AWS credit, signed MOU with the government, and we just returned from a trip to NASA. Let me explain why Ignitos by telling you about Peter, a farmer from Zambia. This is Peter. He's been suffering from low yields for the past 5 years. His problem, like the other 4 million farmers in Zambia, is his inability to access the essential data about his field. Peter heard about satellite technology from Joe, who hired a team of experts to solve his problems, including a satellite tech expert, a soil expert, and an agronomist who analyzes the data, giving Joe constant updates about his crop and his soil composition. But Peter, like most rural farmers, can't afford the experts, and he isn't tech savvy. He doesn't even own a smartphone. We are a resource-rich country with millions of hectares of arable land and beautiful weather, yet our yields seem to fall behind compared to other countries, making us lose on 70% of yields and revenue, translating to millions of dollars lost. We just seem not to get it right down here on Earth, and that's when we looked up there to the sky. Ignitos Space is developing Ignite AI, which is Peter's new team of experts. Ignite AI is an artificial intelligence platform that aggregates satellite data from hundreds of satellites, analyzes the data using proprietary research, then give recommendations to Peter with a click of a button. All he needs to do is sign up to the platform through his farming support program, go to his farm and click on that button. The platform will triangulate him, give him his soil composition, his fertilizer recommendations, guiding him to what to plant, where, and when. But remember, Peter doesn't even have a smartphone. Well, Ignite AI works on any platform, including phones without internet, through the USSD platform to provide the same life-changing magic our web platform provides. Our clients range from farmers to government, NGOs, and even other space companies, tapping into 400 million farmers in Zambia, in Africa, and starting from the 4.5 million in Zambia that we have access to through our MOUs. All that starts from $10 a month, paid through cooperatives and various farming funds. We also have project-based revenues streams with private and public institutions in Zambia. Our path to million farmers is already paved through our collaborations and MOUs. This translates to $10 million by year 2, reaching our ROI in less than 14 months. Space is about collaboration and not competition. We have received validation from key players on the market about our unique solution, and we are currently working on getting patent. That's us, a strong team from local and international professionals, gurus in space, agriculture, tech, and business. Data is the new oil, and everyone needs it. In our pilot phase, we are testing the platform with 20,000 farmers and going commercial by next year, aiming to launch our own satellite by end of 2023, cutting down our data acquisition cost. We've been bootstrapping. A cash injection will accelerate our research and development and get the first space-related patent in Zambia. We are looking for $500,000 in pre-seed, which will allow you, through us, to affect 1 million lives in the next few months, including Peter's, and billions of lives on Earth as we grow beyond borders. The sky is not the limit. We are Ignitus, and we will save life on Earth.
Ahmad, that is your time.
Beautiful, just right in time. Audrey, do you have any questions?
Look, this was very impressive. You're so clear with your traction. It's pre-revenue, which makes it tough for you in Africa. But I think you are looking across the world for that, because I mean, we've got very little pre-revenue money in Zambia, and in most of Africa. Anza Capital's money has a South African mandate at the moment. We are trying to broaden our mandate with other funders, but we haven't succeeded in that. But I would definitely be an investor in your company if I've got a broader mandate, which might happen before the end of the year. So I'm going to put you definitely on our watch list. It's a very, very exciting story that you tell. So I want to commend you. I really think you created the language and the narrative to say what you're solving, what you brought to the table, and what traction you have, which is very convincing. And I do think you are in very good hands with Eric Usayawan, that you've mentioned is your advisor from a financial perspective. He's a co-investor in Africa, and he knows what he does. So that's a fantastic guy to have on your side. And I'm sure he might even become your first investor. He might just want to wait for you to be pre-revenue, post-revenue, not pre-revenue. So I think you're going places, definitely.
No, thank you for that. Actually, we're looking at two options at the moment. One of them is incorporating in SA, and the other one is incorporating in Delaware, or both of them at the same time, actually.
Sorry, just to add to that, Audrey, I know we did talk about this on a different note, but we said that even if we can exchange that equity for something that's CSR related for their carbon credits, that's also something that we want to possibly look at.
I will introduce you. I'll introduce you to the company I met, and that I said I'll also introduce the carbon credit company. But they only warehousing their deals at the moment. They're also raising a fund, but you fit. Zambia fits. It's all the underserved markets that they're looking at. But then I'm going to look at that investor from the United States that said to me, any carbon credit deals I must bring to them. And I also think that you don't always have to sell equity for those carbon credit green investors.
Exactly.
And you can sell carbon credits and just boost your bottom line. So yeah, I think it's a very interesting model, and Zambia is a tough market. If you can crack it there, you can do it anywhere.
Thank you for that. I think my fellow other founders that have been pitching prior to us have clearly said that, and I'm learning a lot from using that model. So it'll be really nice to see how we can further that model.
Okay, thank you so much for that interaction there. Audrey is really bringing the connections forth. We appreciate that, Audrey. We really do appreciate that. And to everyone in our audience today, feel free to reach out to us. Feel free to reach out to the cohort if you've got any potential deals for them, or any potential customers, or any potential connections that you feel they might benefit from. The whole purpose of this session is to give them as much exposure as possible. So let's make use of this networking. Okay, we'll head over to our next presenter. The next company pitching will be WIPO. Just sharing my screen here quickly. WIPO Wireless Power, represented by Yako.
Yes, good day, everyone.
Hi, Yako. Feel free to share your screen.
Thank you. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
All right, thank you so much. So WIPO Wireless Power was created to solve the first and last mile logistic challenges, specifically when you use battery operated devices. With all the benefits that comes with these devices, they have one big drawback, and that is batteries. So good day, my name is Jaco Priya. I'm the founder and CEO of WIPO Wireless Power. So when we look at these battery powered devices, customers say the biggest pain point is manually charging and swapping out to these batteries, which increases cost. But when you manually charge these batteries, it allows for battery abuse, electric shock, it leads to plug-in fatigue, battery anxiety, and excessive charging times. We have developed a digital platform and wireless charger that allows you to charge drones, e-bikes and e-scooters, and then warehouse and factory robotics. The digital platform is a cloud-based platform and it uses AI and machine learning to maximize the battery health and charging cycles, as well as minimizing the charging time that it takes to charge these batteries. We're using cryptocurrencies for public fleets and in exchanging with the charging credits for charging of these public fleets. So our platform is it's mobile and it allows for extension and expansion using third-party devices. And it allows you to launch, for instance, a drone rapidly for emergencies for a number of use cases, from surveying to security to logistics and delivery, while the platform allows the operator to remotely monitor and even operate the devices remotely. We're using a multi-sided digital platform strategy, connecting producers with consumers and allowing suppliers to add third-party devices and services to the platform, enriching the value that we produce for the producers and the consumers in this model. When looking at the wireless power transmission market, it has a TAM of $6.3 billion, a SAM of 1.1, and we're targeting a SOM of $261 million with a growth rate of 21.1%, an expected TAM of $36 billion by 2030. We are targeting directly OEM suppliers of these robotic devices and e-bicycles and e-scooters, as well as the operators in terms of factories, warehouse operators of these robotic devices, and the public e-fleets in terms of e-scooters and e-bikes directly. When we're looking at what value do we add, our digital platform and the drone itself, it's mobile and scalable. It allows for rapid deployment of the robotics and the drones. It allows for automated charging, and in some cases it enables autonomous operations. So it allows for the charging of warehouse robotics while in operation, cutting down on the idle time of these devices while charging. We have a number of international competitors: Solus Power, Wybotic, Spark Connected, and Power Sphere, all in the same segment within the wireless power market. We have a number of team members in the team: engineers, industrial designers, system architects, serial entrepreneur advisors, all bringing combined on average of 20 years experience to the company itself. Since 2018, we signed up a number of partnerships with suppliers, resellers, won awards. We developed 2 wireless chargers, and recently we expanded and created an office within Estonia to allow us better access to the European market. We're looking for, our biggest need is for market access, is to do the partnerships with OEM. So those are the manufacturers of robotics, the e-bikes, the e-scooters, and that type of thing. And most of the money would be used in terms of manufacturing and manufacturing of the assets that would be both sold and, would be both sold. So join us in this amazing opportunity where you can operate these devices remotely and maximize the number of the battery life, and then also minimize the charging times of these devices. Thank you so much.
Hi, Jaco, that is your time.
Okay, just in time. Thank you so much, Jaco. Farah, any questions?
Thank you so much, Jaco. I think the first thing that comes to mind when I see power stuff is load shedding. So I think this is quite a good concept. I think the question I want to know is, or answered is, what is the total lifespan of this this charger as such? And the second question on that is, what is the, once that life cycle is up or lifespan is up, how does one have to dispose of this? Is there a specific way to dispose of it, and you know, considering the impacts on environment?
So are you talking about the chargers, or are you talking about the batteries, or what are you talking about?
Yeah, so the battery, I'm presuming, is inside the charger?
So as an example, when we're looking at warehouse robotics, so they have batteries that they run off. So we don't supply that. We supply the wireless charging that allows you to charge the, let's say for instance, the warehouse robotics or the drones wirelessly. So there's no moving parts, and it's only electronic parts. So they last quite long, if that is what you're asking. And the technology is very similar to the wireless charging of cell phones and things like an Apple Watch and that type of thing, but it's just at a much higher power rating to be used for drones, and then also for warehouse robotics, and then e-bikes and e-scooters and that type of thing.
Okay, thank you so much for that.
Thanks, Farah. Stefan?
No questions. It seems pretty straightforward. So I wish you the best with
Okay.
this.
Thank you, Stephen.
Okay. Audrey?
No, I don't. Also, it was clear. I think the whole process is clear, and yeah. Thanks.
Okay, well done. Yako. I must say to all our startups tonight, we really see your effort in how you've grown from the start of the program till now. And we really appreciate all the effort and the time that you've put in refining your pitches, implementing your growth strategies, and the different aspects of the program that you learned. And we see your effort, and everyone in the audience does see your effort, so well done for that. And we wish you all the best. We'll continue to support you. We'll continue to give you as much exposure as we can, and we'll continue to root for you in all that you do and as you scale and grow your businesses. Before our closing remarks, in the spirit of celebration, sorry, just noticed my video was off. In the spirit of celebration, would like to take a group photo. Now that we are online, how we're going to do this is we're going to humbly ask everyone to have their cameras open, and then we take screenshots, which we will definitely share to everyone in attendance. So we will do this just after Davis' presentation. Okay, over to you, Davis.
Thank you so much. And I trust that everyone is able to hear me, yes?
Yes.
Great, wonderful. So firstly, thank you to everyone for staying on the call. For those of you east of the meridian, it's quite late. Thank you for joining us. For those in the US, it's quite early. Thank you. I think that, you know, we're at a point now, certainly not the end, but we're at a point in the middle of a journey that has for many of us been happening for a number of years. The Earth Observation Challenge that some of the participants in the startups have come through started in 2015. The work that some of the partners from the kind of the drone space came through started a good 4 or 5 years ago as well, out of Saldanha Bay. And so there's really a long and tough journey that's been walked to try and build out this bigger innovation ecosystem, not just within South Africa, but globally. And I think that the startups that we're seeing, you know, you guys are doing amazing work. And the fact that we are now at a point where this is part of a much bigger community compared to what you would have experienced in 2016 or 2017 is testament to the hard work of a lot of people. It's people taking, you know, taking risks, having some faith that building out this ecosystem is something that is important, and that we, you know, that will help build a better South Africa, a better Africa, and a better world ultimately. So there are many, many people that we can thank for having helped to sort of take us through here. Of course, the immediate people, the startups, you know, you guys are the ones taking the risk, and we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. Certainly a thank you to the mentors who've spent a lot of time and effort in helping us to work with these startups, but also who have come from various partner organizations that have believed in building out ecosystems. This process is very difficult. It takes a long time, and this, you know, this is the first aerospace cohort that's been pulled together, and I'm really amazed at how incredible the work that is being done is, and we're really, really proud to be a part of that. So I'm hopeful that there will be some deals coming out of the conversations today. And we will certainly keep everyone updated and informed on that. To all the investors who are on the call, you know, however we can help to make this happen, and we're very keen. Certainly to the team from Tech Tribe Accelerator who put a lot of work in there, thank you. And just to the broader group of partners from you know, many different sectors South African National Space Agency, Saldanha Bay Innovation Campus, Department of Science and Innovation. There are many groups who've helped to make this work. See Captain Ricky's there from Gen Space. It's a collective effort. So just in closing, we are only partway along a journey. There is still a long road to walk, but we will get there in the end if we continue to do this together. And I look forward to walking on that road with you all. So thank you all. I wish you a safe evening or day further. Good luck to all the entrepreneurs. It's a real ride. And wherever you are, go out there and try and change the world. Thank you so much all, and have a great day further.
Thank you so much, Davis, for those kind words, and we always appreciate your support. Before we take our group photo, I'd like to give this time to Armand from, sorry about that. I'd like to give this time to Armand from WIPO. Sorry, Armand from RBI, he'd like to say a few words. So Armand was part of the program as well, but he wasn't pitching today. Just a few seconds. Okay, over to you.
Thank you so much, Jenny, and good evening, everybody. Thank you for everybody's time tonight. Yes, I just wanted to congratulate all the other pitchers and everybody on their fantastic innovative ideas and everything. I did ask Lindy if I could just give a quick shout out and a bit of word of encouragement to all of the investors on their ideas and their concepts, that you just got to keep pushing forward. Because we also participated in the Innovation Campus event at the end of last year with Nokwanda, the Saldanha Bay Harbour and everything. And we managed to find very good footing and traction thanks to everything that we did there and the concepts and stuff that we laid forward. So I just wanted to give a quick shout out and say thank you for all of the hard work and the effort that you guys put into us as well in helping us find our footing. It really is possible, guys, if you really dig in there and you reach out to the right people and you network and you build those relationships. It's really going to help you move forward and grow your company the way that you want to push it forward. So I just wanted to just give that shout out and say thank you for everything that you guys put into us as well, and everything that we also learned through this program with the the SA Innovation Summit. It's been really helpful to us as well. And that's definitely knowledge that's we're utilizing and pushing our company forward to extremely new heights as well. We're definitely taking SA by storm, I feel. And thanks to everything, and we managed to pick up our first major contract at the beginning of the year as well. And we've been working solidly on that up until now, where we're busy finishing it up now. I think it's all thanks to everything we've learned from everybody's knowledge and experience in the program. So please, guys, never give up hope. Always keep pushing forward, dream big, dream hard, and then give it your all, and you'll definitely get there.
Okay, thank you so much for those words.